sounds like Nick Bosa is holding out until he becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL, which is just so inspiring to anyone else who has yearned to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL in their life, like me. That's still my goal, and I'm living vicariously through Nick, and I hope he gets it. What do you think of this?
Okay. Yesterday, I put up a tweet. What do you feel about Bosa holding out? And 100% of the responders said they're on Bosa's side, that this is his chance to make a lot of money, and it's a business, and they're 100% with him. So I want to say I acknowledge what you're saying, and I understand the logic and the feeling that goes with it. I have another thought, which I'd like to share with you. No matter what the Niners are offering him, and I don't know nothing, I assume it's a fortune. It may not make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league or ever, but I assume it will set him up for this lifetime and probably others. So his wanting money is not out of economic need. It's out of ego need. That for his ego, he needs to get this amount of money to show he's the best non-quarterback in the league. And I want to say something that I learned in life. Ego is a deceiver. It's a scoundrel. If you follow ego, you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. I did in my life. I think at a certain point, a person should be happy to say, boy, I'm going to be really wealthy. I don't really need these other things. I don't need to make this stand, because the stand isn't about the money. It's about my ego. Yeah. And so what I say is I have misgivings about that. And I think it shows how young Bosa is. And I think it shows he's in for a fall eventually. It's what the Greeks would call hubris. I think he's going to make a lot of money. And I think what they offered him is probably pretty fair. And I sort of don't like the way he's handling himself. What do you think, Iggy?
It's interesting you chalked it up to him being young. I look at it differently. Like it's not just him. It's the Bosas. His dad was in the NFL. His brother's in the NFL. Like, these guys are a legacy family. They know the business. And this is about all of their egos. All of them. And this is why I didn't want the Niners to draft Nick Bosa. This is why I'd be okay with trading Nick Bosa. He's a great player, but he's not a team guy. He is an independent contractor. And yeah, it's better to have him on your team than the other team, but like, look at this, man. He could literally miss games this year if the Niners don't give him exactly what he wants. That's kind of scary, to be at the mercy of this guy who's like got an extremely high ego. And if you don't stroke it the way he wants it, then he's not going to play. Pause. Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so again, you understand, Iggy, what we're saying is not what the fan base is thinking, but it's another look at it, and it's something at least to consider.
I mean, he's a great player, but you're going to have to pay him quarterback money. Wouldn't you rather just have a quarterback? If you're going to pay a non-quarterback quarterback money, just give me a quarterback who's good.
Yeah. Well, they think that Purdy is the quarterback. Is the good quarterback, and we'll see. But the other thing I would say, if he comes back for game one, I don't think the players will hold any of this against him. No. And I won't either. But if he misses game one, I'm kind of turned off, Iggy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of turned off.
Get this done. If you want to hold the Niners' feet to the fire until the 11th hour, fine. But you need to be on the field for week one. Yeah, you're a captain.
You're the
best player. You're the best player in the team. If they don't play, they're probably going to lose. If you don't play, they're probably going to lose. If you do play, they're probably going to win. You got to be out there.
Yeah. That's what I think. I do.
Yeah.
So look, let me just say something before you go back to comments. We haven't really talked about Bosa because this whole thing with Trey Lance. If the Trey Lance saga were not playing out, a lot of people would be talking about Bosa. So this organization, a couple of weeks before the season starts, has not one but two crises. Is this the way to start a season? Two crises, and you're all over the news for bad things?
And you could argue that this Bosa thing is worse than the Lance thing for the Niners. I mean, the Lance
Yeah.
thing is really bad for Lance, and it's bad for black quarterbacks, and it's bad for the Niners optically. But Nick Bosa not being there and potentially missing games is bad for your win-loss record.
Yeah.
It's bad for Kyle's job security with the 49ers. Like, Niner fans are already saying, win the Super Bowl or get the hell out of town. All right, well, that's going to be tough to do without Nick Bosa. You better work that out.
Iggy, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Today, Thursday, day before the final preseason game, Kyle Shanahan, let's say now he's sitting in his office and having a sandwich. He's on his own. Mm-hmm. What is his state of mind? And on two issues, how he's handled Trey Lance and the feedback and the blowback, and Bosa. Is he eating his cup of noodles, and which is what Seifert used to eat? Is he eating his cup of noodles and his turkey sandwich with mayo and a Diet Coke? Is he feeling relaxed, or is he nervous?
I think he's nervous about Bosa. I think he's feeling defensive about Trey. Probably, like, oh, everyone thinks they know better than me and everyone's stupid and I'm smart. But the Bosa thing, I bet he feels like, man, I'm glad everyone's focused on Trey Lance, so no one's really focusing on this Bosa thing, because I don't know how this is going to end. We're so at Nick Bosa's mercy right now.
Okay.
We're really at Nick Bosa's mercy, and no one's really talking about it. So, but they will in 2 weeks if he isn't signed. They will. Paul Newland says, thank you, Lowell, for coming on. You are a gentleman and a scholar.
Thank you. William
Bonnet says, Eric Bieniemy, 24, bring in championship pedigree. Eric Bieniemy. Well, we'll see what he does in Washington this year. Young League TV says, when you are in the media room, you need to stick it to Kyle and ask every question first. You are the voice of the people. This is ridiculous.
Oh, you're the voice of the people. I love it.
A lot of pressure. Drastic says, what if Kyle Shanahan informing Trey Lance before the third preseason was purposeful so we wouldn't have a clear head and would possibly play bad, just so we can justify putting Darnold ahead of him? That assumes that Kyle has a plan.
Yeah, really, I love it. Yeah,
that he thinks things through. Ireland, Grant, not England. Sorry, Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in from Ireland.
Appreciate you, Ryan. Brooks says they are Niner fans, Kyle. They are Niner fans. How about them Niners? Says Trey should go to the cave with Aaron and drink the loony juice. Worked for him.
Hey, okay. Iggy.
Yeah.
The guy from Ireland. What was his name? Ryan.
Ryan McDonald.
Ryan, I'm on a binge of reading John Banville, this wonderful Irish novelist. I probably read 10 novels by him in the last month. Just for you.
Reggie 1981 says, I know you're watching Trey. Head up and walk the fire.
I love it.
Anthony Adams says, I love Trey, but let's say he sucks for the sake of this discussion. If Darnold is so great, why couldn't he score more than once versus backups?
That's a good question.
Yeah, really. If Trey Lance sucks, then it doesn't Sam Darnold was like right there with him.